Students do not always enter our classrooms as empty vessels waiting for instructions. They enter our classrooms carrying emotions. They enter carrying experiences, worries and hopes, and even stories. Before students can learn, they must first feel that belonging. Welcome to intentional teaching. Every morning, students walk into our classrooms carrying invisible backpacks. Not the ones filled with books, the ones filled with emotions. Some carry excitement, some carry anxiety, some carry loneliness, some carry disappointment, some carry fear, some carry burdens too heavy for a child to carry alone. And yet, within moments of entering our classrooms, they begin asking themselves questions. They would ask questions, they may never say it out loud. Do I belong here? Will anyone notice me? Is it safe to be myself in this environment? Will I succeed today? Does anyone care that I am here? Be reminded that before students learn a lesson, before they answer a question, before they complete an assignment, they are searching for something much more fundamental, a sense of belonging. Belonging is not a reward for learning. Belonging is the foundation that makes learning possible. I want you to think about this. The intentional teacher understands this. And that is why the very first few minutes of the day matters more than most people may even realize. Today's episode is not about complicated teaching. Or complicated teaching strategies. It is simply to share with you 5 simple routines, small actions, tiny moments, but moments that can transform an ordinary classroom into a place where students begin to feel seen, they feel valued, and they feel welcome. Let's begin. The first routine is to greet every student by name, if you can. I personally made it a duty to memorize my student's name. The first routine is deceptively simple. Greet every student by name every day, not occasionally, every day, every student. Research shows that hearing one's name regularly activates a powerful sense of recognition and connection. But long before researchers studied this belonging, teachers understood something even deeper. Names matter. A student's name says, I see you. You matter. You belong here. Think about it. Think about the difference. A student walks into a room unnoticed, or a student hears his name, good morning, Sarah. Or, I'm glad you're here today, Malik. Or simply, welcome back, Anna. The lesson hasn't started, yet something important has already happened. The student has been acknowledged. The student has been recognized, seen, and this is critical for learning. Years from now, students may not remember every lesson that you taught. but they would always remember how you greeted them, how you made them feel. They will remember whether they felt visible in your classroom, whether they felt valued. Allow me to share a personal story that shows the power of a simple greeting. Every morning, Maria walked into school with her head down. She wasn't a troublemaker. She wasn't the loudest student. In fact, most days she hoped no one would notice her at all. At home, life was difficult. Her parents were struggling, and the weight of family problems had found its way into Maria's shoulders. Then one day, something small happened. I was Maria's homeroom teacher. As she approached my classroom every morning, I looked up, smiled. I smiled warmly and I said, "Good morning, Maria. I'm so glad you are here today." Nothing else extraordinary followed. The lesson continued as usual. But the next morning, it happened again and again. "Good morning, Maria." And the next day, "How are you doing today, Maria?" And soon Maria began arriving a little earlier to school. She started making eye contact with me. Eventually, she raised her hands in class. By the end of the year, she was participating in discussions, joining groups, and smiling more often. Years later, at the school reunion event, Maria found me and said, "I might not remember everything we did in your class, but I remember your class was fun. And all the assignments we completed, I really enjoyed them. But I also remember one thing." What was it? I waited. "You greeted me every single morning like you were happy to see me. At a time when I felt invisible everywhere, you made me feel like I mattered in your classroom. And sometimes the most important lessons we teach isn't written on the board. It's communicated in a smile, in a greeting, a name spoken with kindness. Because students may forget today's lesson, but they rarely will forget how they felt when they walked into your classroom. Every greeting is an opportunity to say without even realizing it, you belong here." What if the most important thing you teach today happens before the first slide appears on your screen? I want you to reflect on this. The second routine is the 2-minute emotional check-in. Every day, take 2 minutes. The 2-second routine takes less than 2 minutes. It's an emotional check-in. Every student arrives emotionally somewhere. The challenge is that many teachers don't know where that somewhere is. A student who appears distracted may be worried about something. A student who seems disengaged may be overwhelmed with something. A student who is unusually quiet may simply need someone to notice them. Intentional teachers make space for emotions before diving into instruction. This can be as simple as one word check-in, mood makers, color cards, thumbs up sideways or down, exit and entry ticket. These strategies can really help with that. The goal isn't therapy. The goal is awareness. Because when students feel emotionally acknowledged, they become more available for learning. Imagine if every student started their day knowing that their feelings mattered. How might that change the way they engage? How might that change the way they see themselves in your classroom? That takes us to the third routine. Start with a moment of connection. This third routine is simple but very powerful. Begin with connections before content dispensation. Many classrooms start with announcements, followed by assignments, instructions, and things like that. Intentional classroom, however, start with people. A simple question can change the atmosphere of the entire classroom. You may ask questions like, what is one thing you're looking forward to learning today? Or, what is one small win from yesterday's lesson? Or you may ask simply, what is something that made you smile this week? Students love these moments, and these moments create human connections. And connections it actually fuels engagement. And students who feel connected are more likely to participate in classroom activities. They are more willing to take risk in and more willing to learn. From my own experience, the teacher who left the greatest impression on me as a student wasn't necessarily the one with the most impressive lesson or the one with the highest qualifications. It was that teacher who knew my name, noticed when I was unusually quiet because I wasn't talkative, and celebrated my successes. She believed in me even when I doubted myself, and she reminded me I was capable of bigger things. She asked about my dreams, listened to my stories, and made me feel like I mattered beyond my grades. In a world where many young people feel overlooked, disconnected, or pressured to simply perform, students need that kind of genuine connection more than ever. When a teacher takes the time to truly acknowledge a student, they don't just build a relationship. They build confidence in that child. They build a sense of belonging and the courage to believe. I matter and I can succeed. Students need that today more than ever. Don't forget to remember, the strongest classroom management strategy may not be a consequence. It may simply be a relationship. The fourth routine is to celebrate small wins. The fourth routine is intentionally noticing progress in your students. It's not always about perfection, progress. Too often, students believe they are only valued when they succeed. Let me remind you, intentional teachers teach something different. They teach that growth matters, effort matters, Persistence matters. A student who struggled yesterday but tried again today deserves recognition. A student who finally raised their hand deserves recognition. A student who demonstrated kindness deserves recognition. These moments communicate an important message. It tells the student, you are growing and I noticed you. Sometimes students wait for evidence that they are capable. Teachers often become the first people to provide that evidence. Don't fail your student. Routine number 5, create a daily belonging ritual. It could be as simple. The 5th routine is creating a ritual that reminds your students they are part of something bigger than themselves. You see, humans thrive in communities. Students do too. And belonging rituals might include things like morning circles, classroom affirmations, community goals, gratitude moments, shared celebrations. Those moments may seem insignificant, but they are very important. This specific ritual message has a big message behind them. The message is, we are a community. We support one another. You belong here. Every day, without exception, you are part of the classroom. So let's remember something important. Students may forget today's worksheet. They may forget tomorrow's quiz. They may even forget some of the content that we teach. But they will rarely forget how a classroom made them feel. That's what they take with them for a lifetime. They remember whether they felt safe, whether they felt valued, whether they felt seen. They would remember whether they felt like they mattered. And belonging changes everything. Because students who feel they belong become students who participate in the classroom. They engage more. Students who participate become students who learn. And students who learn become students who grow. And the students who grow becomes an adult who contributes to the world, especially to their communities. All this because someone created a place where they felt they belonged. So, my dear teachers, tomorrow I invite you to choose just one of these routines. Not all 5 of them at once, just one. Greet every student by name. Try a 2-minute emotional check-in. Ask a connection question. Celebrate small wins. Create a belonging ritual that your students can connect. Then pay attention. Notice what changes. Notice who smiles. Notice who participates. Notice who seems just a little more willing to engage in an activity. Because transformation rarely begins with dramatic changes. It begins with intentional moments. Moments like this, repeated consistently, day after day. So if this message resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, Edu Life School. Each week, we will expose practical strategies and meaningful reflections that help educators create classrooms where students can thrive, not only academically, emotionally, and personally. And before you go, tell us in the comment section, what is one thing you do to help your students feel they belong? Your idea may inspire just another teacher somewhere in the world. Don't forget to do this. You see, teaching isn't measured only by what students learn today. It is measured by who they become tomorrow. Every lesson is an opportunity, and every conversation is an investment. Every student deserves a teacher who chooses intention, teach with intention, lead with purpose, inspire for life. See you in the next episode. Thank you for joining.